Hello, everyone. Hello, Dr. David. Welcome, Dr. David.
Hey there, my friend.
How are you doing?
Oh, absolutely wonderful.
Thank you. Hope everything is well for you and everyone who is here.
Yeah.
Okay.
I think we are about to get started, right?
Yes.
Okay.
Just give me 2-3 minutes to introduce yourself
yes.
and our office, and then I'm gonna use.
Okay.
Hello, everyone. Thank you so much for everyone who is coming, and some other maybe they're gonna join later. Today we are so proud for the new session, the new webinar entitled. Please, could you mute your mic? Okay. Hello, everyone. Our staff office today is really honored to be here to introduce Mr. David. He's an English language specialist with Institute of Population and Social Research, Mahidol University in Bangkok, Thailand. He teaches academic reading and academic writing for the social science for master's and doctoral studies. Also, he is a journal manager and copy editor for the top tier Scopus Index Journal for Population and Social Studies with the same institute. In addition, he got several international awards for his contribution to global education. Currently, he is a doctoral candidate pursuing a PhD in applied linguistics for English language teaching at King Magdal University of Technology, Thonburi, Thailand. Today, we are so glad that Mr. David accepted our invitation to present a really interesting and important title and name it Critical Thinking, the New Normal. We are so glad that Dr. David to be here. Now we're gonna give him the stage to start his presentation. I'm gonna make you co-host, Dr. David, to share your screen.
Okay, great. And how much time do I have?
Between 40-45 minutes.
Okay, good. Yeah, because I have my timer just to make sure.
Thank you.
Yeah, sure, of course. Yeah. Oh, yeah. All right. Well, thank you for allowing me to be here. Wow. A week ago, maybe or so.
Yes.
I published another episode of a monthly blog that I write. I write a monthly blog for the Thailand Association of Applied Linguistics. So, and my monthly blog was about statistics.
Interesting.
Yeah, I found that nearly 80% of university students in the United States are afraid of statistics. 80%.
Yeah.
I was shocked. Yeah. Well, I use basic statistics in analyzing language. About the most, I don't know, about the most advanced statistics I use might be some by-point serial correlation. Point by serial correlation, or maybe some regression statistics. But that's about the most advanced statistics I use. So I can understand the fear. Yeah. Well, good. I think what the stat office is doing is a good thing. Offering assistance to people who are afraid of numbers.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, most of the people, they are afraid for the numbers. Yeah, even American people,
Yeah.
they are afraid
Yeah.
for, yeah. You're right. Yes.
So, okay, well, just a little bit of background about my presentation. Last year, I was invited to be a co-editor of a book series on. The book series is about critical pedagogy. So in my time serving as a co-editor of the book, I have had an opportunity to really delve deep into critical pedagogy. And I found that critical pedagogy is really nothing more than giving learners or giving students the opportunities to ask questions. Now, critical thinking is the new normal. It doesn't matter who you are, where you work, or what you do. Every education curriculum in Asia, I know, has some sort of element of critical thinking. Critical thinking, logical processing. Every curriculum, every education system has a degree of critical thinking within their curriculum. And when I was preparing to be the co-editor of the book on critical pedagogy, I did a little bit of research, not much. I spent a couple of days looking at articles or studies that have been done about critical pedagogy. And then I went from looking at articles of critical pedagogy to looking at the curriculum, especially in Thailand, Indonesia, Philippines, okay? And when I looked at the Ministry of Education's curriculum for secondary schools, and I saw how many times critical thinking was mentioned, I was shocked. It's a lot. I mean, there are several mentions of critical thinking. So I asked myself the question, if critical thinking is being pushed in these education curriculums, and if critical thinking is synonymous for economic growth. Okay.
Excuse me.
Look at the study. Yes.
Excuse me, Mr. David. I think the slide's not working. You are still in the same.
Oh, no,
You are in the same first slide. Yeah. Thank you.
Yeah.
Thanks.
Okay. So when I looked at critical thinking, I saw how in studies critical thinking is synonymous to a nation's economic growth. And I found this quote by former President John Fitzgerald Kennedy. I forgot, he was assassinated in the late 68, maybe early 69. And he said, too often we enjoy the comfort of opinion without the comfort of thought. And when I went through the Facebook page of the Stat office and I saw everything that they offered, and then I was thinking about the critical pedagogy and the critical thinking, I realized that I love numbers. I really do love numbers, because numbers tell a story and numbers tell the truth. And oftentimes when we speak with people have different ideas, different thoughts, different beliefs, and they are of different minds. So let's go. What is critical thinking? What is? Well, the foundation of critical thinking gives a rather long, laborious definition, if you want to say. Now, sorry, but I'm going to read some of this because I want you to really understand. I want you to, I don't need any help, thank you. Critical thinking is the intellectually disciplined process of actively and skillfully conceptualizing, applying, analyzing, synthesizing, and or evaluating information gathered from or generated by Now, critical thinking seems quite complicated. I mean, my goodness, look at the definition itself. Well, let me put the definition of critical thinking in terms where someone like me can understand. I need things simple. Critical thinking is the analysis of information in order to form an objective judgment. That's it. That's it. It's that simple. Critical thinking is just looking at information, just looking at the information and making an objective judgment from the information. I mean, it seems quite simple. Now, if we are impartial, if we are unbiased when we evaluate facts, then we can draw realistic conclusions that help in making a decision. Now, you know, I teach academic reading and academic writing for master's and PhD level students. And matter of fact, this morning we had our first class, and I told everyone, regardless of how you feel, what you think, what you believe, numbers tell the truth. I like numbers, I really do. And I teach students who write research, demographic research or social science research, and sometimes they deal with large numbers. Sometimes they deal with 4, 5, or 6 large international and national surveys. So they deal with a lot of numbers, you know, hundreds of thousands of participants. And numbers tell a story, and numbers tell the truth when they are interpreted properly. So being able to properly analyze a situation and to produce a logical and reasonable conclusion is highly valued by employers. Employers, why am I talking about employers? Well, I said earlier that critical thinking is directly correlated with the economic growth of a nation. Well, how can critical thinking stimulate the growth of a nation? Take for instance the Philippines. 109 million people. 109 million people. And over 10% of those people, so what, 11 million people, are overseas foreign workers. And Filipinos are widely appreciated throughout the world as nurses, doctors, people who work in healthcare, and people who work in other high-profile positions, because Filipinos have language ability and they have critical thinking ability. So they are highly praised. Then you have some other countries that have 66 million people, 210 million people, millions and millions of people. But their education system is a very patriarchal system and a very authoritarian system that does not want their people to be critical thinkers. So if international employers want critical thinkers, then let's see what are the indicators of critical thinking. There you go. Truth. Truth is based in reason rather than opinion, belief, or faith. See, again, I like numbers because numbers do not have an opinion. I don't have to worry about them. I don't have to worry about numbers saying, well, I believe this, or my faith says this. I like numbers. I like critical thinking, because with critical thinking, the truth is based on the facts. It's based on the information. It's not based on how I feel, what I think, or what I believe. And employers, international employers, they want people who can think critically. Okay, think about it. A transnational or an international company will have people who will have employees from so many different nations, different cultures, different religions, different ethnicities. And if everyone practices critical thinking, then there's no issues, there's no conflict. So truth is based in reason. Now, when I deal with students, I tell them that learning is inquiry driven. That means that you ask questions. You ask questions. You know, when I lecture, I hate to say lecture. When I have a class, my university classes are normally 3 hours. I am not going to talk for 3 hours. No way. Every 15 minutes, we take a break and we have question time. My students know that anytime I am speaking, at any moment, they can stop me. They can interject, or they can ask questions. See, the thing is, Mohammed says it has no audio. Can anyone hear me?
Sure. Yeah, we could hear you. Yeah.
Okay, so I guess Mohammed. Okay.
Might be their
good.
own problem. Yeah.
Okay, that's good. Thank you. So now learning is inquiry driven. You must ask questions. Without asking questions, you never learn. Can you imagine a young child? Mommy, why does the sun shine? Daddy, why does it rain? What is this? That's how children learn. And that's how we learn forever. Even someone of my age, in my educational level, I still ask questions, because thinkers ask questions to improve and drive lessons and projects and discussions. Questions are so important. Questions are just the backbone of knowledge. You know, I have teacher friends who ask their students, do you understand? Come on. If you ask any student, do you understand? If that student does not want to be the focus of attention, they will say, yes, I understand, thank you. No, what I ask my students is, what do you understand? What is the reason for? I never ask why. Oh, teacher, because. No, I always ask, what is the reason for? What questions do you have? Always. And you see, the reason why I want my students to ask so many questions. Now, again, I teach the master's level and the PhD level. PhD students should be asking questions all day, every day. Because when we first began learning, we have the beliefs and the positions of our parents, of our teachers, of our friends, of our society, and of our culture. And when we do research, when we actually conduct a true empirical study, we have to set aside our beliefs and our faith and our position, because the evidence, the data speaks for itself. And you know, beliefs and positions, they have to change. Our stance about something must change if or when new data emerges. You know, you believe something all your life, and then new data is presented, you have an opportunity to accept that new data and change your belief, or continue to believe the same thing forever, knowing that it's wrong. But critical thinkers, they use the quality of the knowledge and the data to create an intellectual stance rather than a baseless personal opinion. And you see, when we practice critical thinking, we judge the world according to facts rather than the way we feel. Now, this is my favorite. I love this point right here. I love this point. Claims made by anyone, I don't care who they are required to withstand clinical, good faith, intellectual scrutiny. Okay.
Hello, Mr. David. Are you here?
I have intellectual friends who are of different faiths, different ethnicities, different genders, and we discuss everything. I mean, we discuss politics, we discuss religion, we discuss everything you can imagine. And it's beautiful because there's no emotion. It is a discussion to exchange information, to share facts, to grow intellectually. Now, when I meet people who become emotional when there is an opportunity for a discussion, I just walk away. I do not waste my time dealing with emotional people who lack critical thinking skills. I consider it a waste of my time. So now, unpredictability and disruption of ideas, planning, assessment, and traditional thinking patterns. That's critical thinking. Critical thinking is unpredictable because we do not know where it leads. And it disrupts ideas and these traditional thinking patterns. Well, if 1 + 1 is 2, then 2 - 1 is 1. Okay, that's easy. But you know, the traditional thinking patterns, I am American, all right? And we know everyone watches the news. Every country has their own everyone has a stereotypical belief about one country. It doesn't matter what is the country. If you ask someone, tell me about the US or tell me about Americans, oh, this and this and this and this and this. But those are traditional thinking patterns. Those are xenophobic, judgmental, traditional thinking patterns. Critical thinking says, well, do not judge a nation by the behavior of one person, judge that one person by their behavior. And so disrupting, changing the way people think, critical thinking. Now, this is what I mentioned earlier, intellectual divergence, where thinkers seek to be in the company of evidence, truth, data, and perspective. Look, I will not waste my time. I will not even waste a moment of my time discussing a topic with someone who demands that I agree with them or demands that I see it their way. I present data, I present evidence. The evidence speaks. And when people ask me about my studies, my personal research projects, well, it depends upon the person. Sometimes I refuse to discuss my projects, because my projects tend to be culturally based, language based, power structure based. So when you are discussing language used in, or the language of power used in controlling women of faith, or when I am discussing, or when I am looking at child brides, or abuse of women in particular religious groups. Well, if a person of that group asks me, how did you come to these conclusions? And I say, well, you know, we had this data source, we had this population, we had this sample was taken from this group. And the person, if the person says, I don't believe, that's it. I just walk away, because belief is opinion based. If they say, show me the evidence, okay, the evidence says this, then they have a choice whether to accept the evidence or reject the evidence, or provide new evidence. So critical thinking is people who think critically, they want to be together. Because when we think critically, we grow and we adapt, and we can have so many conversations. You know, I have students from, oh my goodness, I have students from Thailand, from Indonesia, from Myanmar, from Iraq, from Afghanistan, from, I don't know, so many different countries, Nigeria, Ghana, you know, just from so many different countries. They are all different faiths, different cultural backgrounds, different ethnicities. And you know, in my classes, we discuss anything and everything. And no one becomes emotional because we look at evidence and truth and data. See, but I found that fallacies, these biases are just so challenging for people to overcome. And you will see these biases come out in research. Cognitive biases, logical fallacies, making illogical jumps or connections. And you know, I love discussing fallacies. You know, I love discussing all the different types of fallacies and how these fallacies come about, and how there are fallacies in our beliefs and in our practices and in our lifestyles and all of these social constructs. And you know, sometimes my students say, well, it doesn't need to be a fact, I just believe it. And you know, that student is not going to write the best paper. So now the language of reason is used, and because it clarifies and it endorses uncertainty and the need for more knowledge. You know, I remember, oh my goodness, I remember when I first started my PhD journey. I remember that. I went in there and I was thinking, ooh, I know so much about this and I know so much about that. It did not take me long to realize I knew nothing. Oh my goodness. I don't know. I remember after the first class, I felt so stupid. I just felt so stupid. And you know, quickly, very, very quickly, I learned to say, you know, I'm not sure about that, or I really do not have enough information about this topic to have an informed opinion. I'm not going to tell you what I think or what I believe. Give me some time. Let me do a little bit of research on this topic. Then I can come back and we can talk, because I want to gain knowledge. I want to gain knowledge so I can think better and I can reduce that uncertainty. You know, that feeling of not knowing or that feeling of being lost. That's critical thinking. Critical thinking allows you to say, you know, I really don't know. I have no idea. Give me a moment, give me a couple of days, and then I will get back with you. You know, but people who cannot think critically or refuse to think critically, they lack humility. They're sometimes arrogant or overly confident. And when someone speaks to you and they present, I think, I believe, I feel, yeah, that's kind of just kind of a wasted discussion. So now let's look at critical thinking skills. So we looked at some indicators of critical thinking. We looked at what is critical thinking, and we know that critical thinking is important for the economic development of a nation. So I looked at Indeed. Indeed is, wow, I believe Indeed might be the largest American job posting platform. It's huge. And on Indeed, they gave a list of five critical thinking skills that employers want, employers desire. The first one is observation. They want people. International employers want people who can notice and predict opportunities and problems and solutions. And you know, it seems so obvious. International employers do not want people who just memorize information, take an exam, and forget. They want people who can absorb data and analyze data. They want people who can gather, understand, and interpret data, information, whatever you want to call it. International employers want people who can do these things. And they do not want people who are just there, just followers. They want people who can draw conclusions based on this data. And they want people who have enough knowledge and experience in what they're doing to draw just logical conclusions. And they want people who can communicate. They want people who can communicate on an intercultural level, who can share and receive information, and who can communicate verbally and non-verbally. And they want these people to do problem solving. These international employers, these transnational companies, they want people who can gather this information, who can analyze and communicate the information to identify and troubleshoot solutions. Teams. They want people who come together as a team, and they want people who do not have to be spoon-fed or babysat. You know, I'm doing research right now. I mean, even today, I was working on some data collection, and you have, in some Southeast Asian nations, you have very authoritarian education systems. Authoritarian, where the teacher in the classroom is the be-all, end-all, know-all. And you dare not ask questions. You dare not question the teacher. You dare not debate, because the teacher is the god of the classroom. And these education systems completely stop the development of critical thinking. They just completely stop. And what happens is, when this country, when these nations are trying to develop critical thinkers or develop a true international workforce, they fail miserably, because the authoritarian systems, these authoritarian patriarchal systems that just diminish the value of women, and diminish the value of critical thinking, and diminish the value of independent thought. These nations, you see them, their GDPs are so bad, they spend very little money on education, and on and on and on. And so critical thinking skills, if they can be developed in the classroom, are crucial to the future of nations. So here we go. This is the last section, the value of critical thinking skills. Okay, the value. Now, I've been here, I've spoken about the definition or the meaning of critical thinking. What is critical thinking? We looked at the indicators, okay? And then we looked at some skills. The skills from Indeed are so beautiful. They're very simple, they're 5 skills, and they're easy to digest. Now, why is critical thinking so valuable? Well, first of all, employers appreciate candidates who can correctly assess the situation and come up with a logical resolution. See, international companies, people do not want to babysit you. If international companies, transnational organizations, they want people who can think, who can act, who can do. They don't want people who will just blindly follow. You know, I wanted to put a cartoon in here about a young man sitting in front of an HR person during an interview. The HR person says, skills, what skills do you have? The young man says, well, I can take tests. What skills do you have? Well, I can take tests. You know, authoritarian education systems, that's what they do. They create test takers. And these students, they go in there, they take their exams, whatever information was stored, it's gone. And there's no critical thinking development. And it's sad because critical thinking is just so valuable. You know, it's critical thinking saves time. Time is money. You know, one of my friends, associate, he is an international attorney. His firm gets $600 per hour. $600 per hour. My goodness, in Thailand, people make $300 or $400 per month. His firm gets $600 per hour. Can you imagine? Can you just imagine the time? See, time is valuable, and most managers are employees. They know time is valuable, and they want people who can think critically, solve problems, and move on to the next thing. So let's quickly look at some examples of critical thinking. Promoting a teamwork approach to problem solving. Yeah, promoting a teamwork approach to problem solving. We looked at that, okay? Self-evaluating your contributions to company goals. Hey, metacognitive awareness, looking at yourself. What can I offer to the company? How can I help the company be better? Because when the company is better, my life is better. What about practicing self-reflection? Practicing self-reflection, analyzing my own thought process. You know, I do this quite often. I have academics who are, oh my goodness, far beyond what I believe I could ever reach in my life. They are brilliant people. And when I am around them, I am by far the smartest person in the room. And I reflect on myself. Well, this way of thinking, this way of delivery, the vocabulary I'm using, my body language, my tone, all these things. Practicing self-reflection is so important to develop critical thinking skills. Making informed decisions. You know, you would really be shocked. I want a new car. I have a perfectly good car, but you know, the new models are out, and you know, I'm kind of partial to one of the manufacturers, and I want one of their cars. Making an informed decision. Well, we owe exactly the same amount on our house as it would take for me to buy this new car. So I decided, why not pay off our house over the next 2 years and be debt free, and then save cash and buy a car. Easy, yeah. Informed decisions. And the salesman at the dealership, he says, no one does that. Everyone else just comes in here and buys the car without making informed decisions. I said, well, I don't do that. See you in 2 years. See, using your time wisely. Critical thinking, using your time wisely. You have to know that my screen is blurred, but behind me, you can see a whiteboard. You don't know what is on the whiteboard. I blurred my screen because I have some information on the whiteboard that needs to be anonymized, but I didn't do it, so that's why I blurred my screen. But I have a list. I have a list of 8 things on the whiteboard listed in priority of what needs to be done, because I use my time wisely. I have a couple of jobs, I'm doing research, I'm teaching, I'm doing all these things. So I have to sort of manage my time wisely. And because managing your time is just so important. Now, I want to leave you with this. I'm reaching the 40-minute mark now, and I'm tired of talking. So, everyone knows of Albert Einstein. He said, learn from yesterday, live for today, hope for tomorrow. The important thing is not to stop questioning. Not to stop questioning. Albert Einstein was one of the greatest physicists, right? And we learn so much from how the world works from him. We learned that our superstitious beliefs no longer apply because now we understand science. And he said, just never stop questioning, always ask questions. Critical thinkers ask questions, and we want evidence-based responses. So, okay, here you go. If anyone would like to contact me, you can scan the QR code, or there is my Facebook information. Sorry, I can't add you as a friend because I already have 5,000 friends, and I guess I need to go through and delete some people. But look, you can contact me on Messenger, and believe me, I will respond to you as quickly as I possibly can. So, okay, that's it. I'm tired of talking. I've reached my 42-minute mark. Yeah. So what is next?
Thank you so much, Mr.
Sure, yes.
David. Yeah, that's really, really, really interesting and important webinar for us about the creative thinking. Now, I know you're tired. Yeah, thank you so much.
Please.
Yeah, thank you so much. Now we're gonna open the doors to the questions. Please, if you have any questions, yeah, you can raise your hand. If you ask in Kurdish, I'm gonna translate to him in English. That doesn't matter, okay? Yeah, please. yeah. Because I'm pretty sure he doesn't know Kurdish. Yeah. Just raise your hand or write down on the box chat.
I see. Who's that? Burkhal? No, Bekhal, sorry.
Bekhal, okay. Miss Bekhal, okay, yes.
Hello.
Thank you very much for this nice presentation, Dr. David. Thanks for Stat Office. Actually, I have just one question concerning critical thinking. Do you prefer quantitative research methodology or qualitative, more for, especially for language research, language and linguistics? Thank you very much.
Wow, that is a great question. You know, I wish my students would ask things like that. You know, you asked what I prefer. You know, when I was doing my bachelor's degree and when I was doing my master's degree, I was thinking, oh my goodness, I'm so afraid of qualitative research. It's so much work. It's this and this and this. So I would do quantitative. And then I realized that I am in social science research, okay, especially where we need to capture the voice of the person. I realized that I now do more qualitative research, and I just simply use descriptive statistics to analyze the qualitative data. You know, with language, I use key B and C. I use AntConc to look for word count or collocations. I use simple programs to look for themes, and you know, so it's not really whether I have an option. I try to use whatever methodology is most appropriate for the data. So yeah.
Thank you so much.
Wow.
Yeah, thank you. Yeah, that's good questions. Yeah. As a statistician, we prefer the quantitative. It's much easier for us a qualitative, Dr. David. Yeah.
Oh yeah. You know, quantitative is so easy. Numbers, plug it in.
Yeah, it's easy to work on it.
Finish, yeah.
It's easy to work on it. Yeah. If we prefer quantitative, yeah.
Yeah. Who is that? Is that Shagul?
Yes.
Yes, Ms. Shagul. Yes, go ahead.
Thanks for this wonderful presentation and the outstanding topics. And I have a suggestion, actually, if it's allow me, Mr. David, that the next webinar will be about academic writing, because, you know, as much as we are writing and reading articles and scientific papers, but we are struggling in academic writing. That's a fact, you know. Even I admit that. No one can have this courage to admit that. But so I have this courage to ask you, because we are looking forward for the next webinar to be on academic writing.
You
give us a key component, if it's possible.
You know. Look, I'm sorry. You know, I'm laughing because today was the first class I had with my new cohort of students, right? And they said, you know, we thought we could write before, but after this class, we don't know what we're doing. And you know, academic writing, I have done several studies about academic writing and topic progression and, you know, all of these things. And you are correct. Even, okay, I'm sorry. I am presuming English is not your first language. Is that correct?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, I'm Kurdish. My mother language is Kurdish. Yeah.
Okay. So now, even though these two languages have similar styles, right? You think differently in your language than you do in English.
Correct.
Okay. And you think differently in your language than I think in my language. So I found some interesting issues over the past 10 years with dealing with academic writing, some very, very simple things. And I can tell you right now that probably the most significant challenge is topic flow, information flow. You know, I I am a reviewer for 17 journals. I'm also the journal manager for a Scopus indexed journal at the number. Okay,
Impressive.
I'm not bragging. I'm telling you that the #1 university in Thailand, I am the journal manager for one of their Scopus index journals. And we get 30, 40 submissions per month for real. I mean, we get a lot of submissions.
Yeah.
And I see how people, even academics, the topic flow within their writing is so poorly. It's So yeah, hey, I would love to do a session on the pitfalls, challenges, and overcoming these challenges in academic writing.
Yeah.
I can, you know what? I
love. We are lucky to have you, today, because we have the chance to ask you for the next webinar will be about academic writing. So we are lucky. We are lucky that we are getting to know you in this presentation. Thank you so much.
Sure, yeah.
We are looking forward.
Sure. Thank you for the interaction. Okay, next questions.
Yeah, thank you so much, Ms. Shagul. Okay, we're going to invite Dr. David, for the next session or next workshop. We have the workshop in soon. We're going to invite him if he accepted.
Yeah, I will be appreciated.
Yeah, of course. Yeah, of course.
Gladly.
Thank you so much.
And look, contact me if you want me to do any special sessions at your universities. I do this all the time. I mean,
that will be great. I will contact you for sure about it. Yeah.
Thank you.
To be honest, I do 14, 15, 16 of these conferences, webinars, trainings per month. So yeah, my portfolio is over 1,000 pages. It's huge. I do a lot of this stuff. So, okay, next.
Yeah. Who would be next? Please raise your hand. Yeah.
Hassan said, I think mixed method is better.
Yeah.
Well, Mr. Hassan, you would be surprised at how many people, I'm not saying you, please, I'm just saying in general, you'd be surprised how many people have no idea what is mixed method. Most people think that mixed method is doing qualitative, is using qualitative and then adding some questions.
No.
And that makes quantitative. I'm sorry, quantitative and adding some questions to make qualitative. But that's not mixed method. So yeah. So great.
Yeah, great.
Next.
I think we don't have any other.
Again.
Again? No.
Again. We just need to have a conversation. Let everyone go and you and I talk.
Thank you so much for your time. I will appreciate that. I will be glad. So David, about research methodology and academic writing, these two topics I'm really interested to get to know more and practice with you. And if you have time, I don't know how to contact Stat about this, or we can arrange that for another time if it's possible, because as much as about in general, when you are talking about research papers, articles, anything like that, you should be reading more and more. But sometimes you need some direction from experts.
Yeah,
so we need your direction. That's that I'm looking for.
Well, do not ask me about quantitative. Just don't.
Actually, I'm a fan of qualitative. I am not.
Okay. Good.
Because my previous study was qualitative, and so many people told me you are crazy. Why you are going to this direction? Qualitative is more complicated. I said no. That's what I'm looking for. I don't like easy stuff. Yeah.
Well, I just like I said every month I write a blog for the Association of Applied Linguistics, and my latest blog is about statistics. And I wrote that in my bachelor's degree. I remember I was so proud I understood frequency and percentage and mean. Oh, I was like, great, I can do it. In my master's degree, I had to use 11 statistical tools. Pearson's correlation, ANOVA, one-way, two-way, blah, 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 multilinear regression, point by serial correlation. I cried. I cried. Oh my goodness. So in my PhD, I said, if anyone talks to me about quantitative statistics, I'm going to stab them with my pen. Oh, yeah. Oh, who's that? Schwar? Is that right?
Sirwa.
Okay, sorry, Sirwa.
Yeah.
Hi, Doctor. As an educator, I'd like to ask you a few questions. First, I'd like to know how much familiar are you with the education system in Middle East?
Not at all.
Okay, so I'm an educator and I always try to teach my students like to be critical thinkers and also to be problem solvers. Like I agree with everything you said and I try so hard to do that, but I really find it so hard to teach that or to facilitate that when like the education system is not very flexible. Like what do you have? If I have, for example, I can ask the administration to give me like one lesson per week, one period per week, so I can work on students' critical thinking. Even in the classes, I do that, but I'm not seeing very good results. What do you think is the problem?
You know, oh well, we're being recorded, so I have to be careful. You know, about 10 minutes before I came on to this session, I was responding to an email. Someone, one of my colleagues and I, we are having this exact same discussion. When you asked the question, the hair on my arms stood up because critical thinking skills. Now, again, I do not know the education system of your country. I just recently was invited to do research with a university lecturer in Bahrain. So that's about as close to the Middle East as I've ever come in doing anything. So education systems that have a very strong patriarchal control or authoritarian control, like what you said, when you said the administration, you have to ask them to give you one lesson per week. Well, that leads me to presume that the administration might be a little more authoritative than what they should. So authoritative education systems, why would they want people to be critical thinkers? Because people who are not critical thinkers are easy to control. And yeah, so we found
exactly.
My colleague and I, we found that if teachers like you, if teachers want to create critical thinkers, you have to do it in like pocket-sized groups. You have to do grassroots, the beginning of the critical thinking process with your students, and then hope that your students can take it from there. You know, I'm sorry, I don't mean to sound negative, but you know, like here in Thailand, they've been preaching critical thinking for 30 years. And the international companies, they go to Vietnam or South Korea. So it's not likely to happen on a wide scale, but teachers like you can have a grassroots program to where you can change students' lives in small groups. So sorry, that was our discussion today. Sorry.
Yeah, thank you. That's a bummer.
Thank you so much, Mr. David. I think we are almost done. We don't have much time, okay? If you don't mind, we're gonna stop right now, Dr. David. Again, thank you so much for your warm and grateful presentation. We're gonna see you soon. As we said before, Yeah, we have the international workshop between the Megamind Academy and our Stat office. For sure, we're going to invite you for one of the topic about the academic writing or such like that. Okay. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. May Allah bless you, Dr. David. If you have some last words, you can say and say goodbye to everyone. Thank you, Dr.
Okay, great. You know, this is like I said, I do many of these these conferences, seminars, workshops. I had the most beautiful questions in this workshop that I have ever had, and I'm not exaggerating. Thank you so much. Please contact me. I would love to discuss further with any of you. So
thank you so much. Thank you for your time. Thank you for your time.
Thank you. Okay, I'm tired. Bye-bye.
Goodbye. See you soon. Goodbye.
Yes, thank you so much.
Goodbye.